What's up guys? So today I am bringing you yet another video on how to meal prep for less than $25. If you haven't watched the last one, you can go ahead and watch it on my channel. All of these foods are really healthy. We have some beet fries, carrot fries. We also have some lentil pizza even. The lentil pizza is something that I did for the first time, but it turned out to be really great. So I want to share with you how to make it so that way you can also get the nutritious benefits while also eating really cheap. So it's really awesome. I even have a coffee banana smoothie that you can have in the morning with some chocolate notes. It's absolutely delicious. We also have some Capris chicken, which is yummy, and it's really easy to make and pretty convenient, so I'll show you guys how to make that as well. And the next thing we have is the Kale Sliders, which are so awesome, especially if you're one of those people who hate kale, then you will love this recipe. So stay tuned, I'll show you guys the grocery list. Alright guys, I just wanted to show you guys what are all the ingredients that you'll need for this week's meal prep. It's very simple and extremely healthy and also very cheap. So first thing first, 5.25 pounds of chicken. I typically get 5.25 because I factor in how much it will be when it's cooked after I cut off all the fat and everything. So just get that much. And then 1 avocado, beets, maybe 2 or so, depending on the size. Some brown sugar, or you can get some coconut sugar, whichever one you prefer. Personally, I prefer this one because it's lower on the glycemic index, but it's your preference. We are not going to use all of the sugar. I mean, we'll be crazy if we do that, but you know, just if you don't have it at home already, don't get it. 1 pound of frozen vegetables, some garbanzo beans or chickpeas, and then some carrots. Lupin flour, this is only $6 at Walmart. It's got 22 servings and it's only $6, and we will only be using 2 servings from the 22, so we will be, you know, using it over the next few weeks. You only need 2 servings from here, and it's extremely great. You can make some cookies with it, protein pancakes. I have a video on the protein pancakes I made using this. It's awesome. Balsamic vinegar if you don't have some at home already, some brown rice, some tomato sauce. These are the ones I like to get. It saves you so much time. No salt. Diced tomatoes saves you so much time and so much energy, and it's only 46 cents each. And some dates. This week we will be using some dates. They're extremely healthy, and a lot of people don't know about them, but you can get them at Aldi's for only like $5. They're really great for you, and they're naturally very sweet, so you can use them as a sweetener on anything, and you can make a crust with them for anything. Some bananas, some cocoa powder. This was $1 at Aldi's as well. You can buy some at Walmart as well, and it's very cheap as well. So this is some kale. You are not going to need all of this kale, so get maybe half of it or so. But if you get all of it, then you can freeze the rest and use it for smoothies and things. Some strawberries. So yeah, that's it. The first one on the menu is the Kale Slider. If you're one of those people who hate kale, you will love this recipe. So what I do is I go ahead and blend in a little bit of kale along with an egg and mozzarella cheese and a little bit of oatmeal. And once I do that, I blend it in together until I get this thick consistency. Make sure that you're using a really strong blender. And once you do that, you're going to go ahead and spread it all over the pan, and you're going to bake it for about 10 minutes until it sticks together like that. Then once it sticks together, you want to go ahead and work on your topper. Start working on your topper. So for the topper, I'm using some scrambled eggs. I just went ahead and used the carrot and then added in the eggs and a little bit of egg whites to make it high in protein. So I went ahead and seasoned it with some cumin and chili, and once I do that, I just top it off on the slider. So once I do that, I also just put it back in the oven for about 10 minutes. And once you bake it back again, you take it out and you can cut it into pieces. I went ahead and ate that piece early, but anyway, so you just slice it, and it's a really healthy, low calorie snack that's high in protein. Alright, so the next one on the menu is the carrot and beet fries. They are absolutely delicious and yummy. So what you want to do is get your carrot, and you're going to cut it in half, and then once you cut it in half, you're going to cut that half into another half. And once you do that, you're going to cut that into 4 pieces. So when you do this, be careful, make sure that you're paying attention. I almost cut myself because I was watching Family Guy while doing this. Anyway, so once you do that, you're gonna add in a little bit of coconut oil or whatever oil you prefer. And I added a little bit of seasoning, and once I did that, I spread it all over the pan. Make sure that you're giving it enough space in between each fry so that way they can cook evenly. So that is very important, because otherwise it's not gonna be as good. So once you do that, you're gonna bake it, and this is the result. It's yummy and tasty. It's got its own flavor, and a really low calorie snack basically that's really high in vitamin A. We didn't do the same thing for the beets. You know, you're gonna cut them evenly and then spread it with coconut oil, and this is what it looks like. And once I do that, you can serve it alongside with your main entrees, and they're really, really delicious and colorful. So yeah, I hope you like them. Alright, so the next one is the muffins. They're really, really delicious and also high in protein and fiber while being low in calories. So you're gonna need 2 bananas, and mash the bananas and then add in half a cup of the lupin flour, which is high in protein and it's really awesome. And after that, I add in a little bit of the sugar. I use about 4 teaspoons of sugar, but you can adjust based on your liking. And I add in the vanilla to kind of balance out the flavors, and I add in a little bit of cinnamon. You can, you know, omit the cinnamon, but I mean, I like that. So once you do that, you're gonna add in a little bit of oats. And add in a little more sugar if you need, and once you do that, you're gonna blend everything together. I like to add some more oats because I wanted it to be filling, you know. I didn't want it to be something that I would have and then not feel full afterwards. So you can add in as much oatmeal as you need, and once you do that, you're gonna put it into the different cups and bake it on high at 425 for about 15 minutes. And once you do that, you're gonna take it out and then add in your fruits and whatever you want to top it off with. I added some strawberries and chocolate chip cookies, and once you do that, you're gonna put it back in the oven, and you're gonna bake it a little more, you know, until it gets like nice and firm. And so when it's done, it's gonna look like that, and it's absolutely yummy and delicious. And they're really high in fiber and protein at the same time, all while being low in calories. So they're awesome. This next one is actually my favorite. It's the lentil pizza. It's just something that I just came up with and tried, and actually turned out really great. So I wanted to share with you how to make it. And what you'll need is 1 cup of lentils, and you want to make sure that you soak them for a full day before you blend them. And I blend them in with a little bit of spices. I added a little bit of salt, pepper, cumin, and herbs and spices. And then once it becomes a batter, I go ahead and spread it all over in the pan like that. And once I do that, I bake it. And after it's baked, I go ahead and top in this with the sauce. The sauce I used was a barbecue sauce with the tomato base. So I mixed in some tomatoes and barbecue and simmered, let that simmer. And once I do that, I just top it off with the cheese. And I use mozzarella cheese. And for the topper, you know, I had some carrots, and I also added some chicken, and to make it really high in protein, and then some red onions. I mean, I just added whatever I had in the house pretty much, but you can top it off with just vegan things if you're a vegan or something like that. And once you bake it, this is how it looks, and it's awesome. It's high in protein, and it's also kind of like a different way that you can cook lentils. On to my favorite one, which is the banana coffee smoothie. This one is absolutely delicious, and it gives you a nice little kick of energy in the morning, or you can have it as a pre-workout. Per serving, you're gonna need 1 banana, a little bit of cocoa powder, and then you're gonna add in a little bit of vanilla to balance out the flavors, and a little water and coffee. And once you do that, you're gonna add 1 date to give it a really nice caramelly flavor. And once I do that, I just top it off with whatever toppers I want. This week it was just strawberries and banana. This is great for a pre-workout or just as a morning snack. Now onto the lunch option. So this is the chicken Capris, and I love this recipe because it's so easy to make and it's so awesome. So what you'll do is cut the chicken into 2 halves horizontally, and then you're going to season it with some chili, paprika, and a little bit of cumin. Then you're gonna mix brown sugar with the balsamic vinegar, and set that aside, and we'll use the tomato sauce that I showed you guys for 46 cents, and we're gonna go ahead and put that all over the chicken. Make sure that you first get the crust on the outside by turning the chicken on both sides first before you add the tomato. And once you do that, you're gonna add the tomato on top and make sure that everything cooks all the way through. So just make sure that you keep it in there for long enough, and you can cut through to see if the chicken is cooked all the way. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the balsamic vinegar and brown sugar mix all over the chicken to kind of let it marinate in there and cook along with the tomato. And once I do that, I go ahead and add the cheese on top. So I'm using the mozzarella cheese, and I just love getting it to melt all over, and just close the lid so that way it can melt very well. And once it does that, I just keep pouring the balsamic vinegar and brown sugar mix all over it again, just to let the cheese marinate in it as well. And it's gonna be so awesome and tasty. If you have never tried this, you should really try it. And I close the back again so that it can melt a little more. And I just, want you guys to make sure that it doesn't really stick too much to the bottom. So just keep, an eye on it. I just keep eating it as I go because it's so good. And as you can see, it's so yummy and cheesy, and a really great recipe. So for the dinner option, I'm making some shredded chicken this way. And so as I told you guys, cut the chicken in half and set aside the other half. So this is the other half. We're gonna go ahead and season it with chili, paprika, and cumin, and I'm gonna go ahead and bake it. I like to have a variety, so that's the reason why we're gonna cook it differently than the Capris chicken. For this one, we're gonna go ahead and use the same pan that we used for the Capris chicken with the basil and everything, and I went ahead and added some tomato sauce and onions to give it a different flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and add some different seasonings. So once I cooked that through, I went ahead and added some garam masala, which gives it a completely different taste profile. It's absolutely delicious and yummy. So once I do that, I just let it cook and simmer for a while, and after that I add in some coconut milk. You can leave the coconut milk, but I just like that creamy texture that it brings about. So you can leave it if you don't like that, but personally I do like that a lot, and I love the flavor. It's kind of like a really nice creamy texture that it gives it. So once I do that, then I go ahead and add the baked chicken in there. I shred it with my hands. You can cut it using your knife, but I mean personally I prefer just shredding it with my hands. I keep eating it. It's so good. I want you guys to try this recipe as well. It's pretty easy, very simple, no waste. Before washing the basil sauce and all of that, you can just make something else like this that's creative. So yeah, I hope you guys like that. Meanwhile, while the chicken is cooking, the rice is something that I cook on the side. I just go ahead and wash it and then boil it in a rice cooker. You can just boil it in a pot if you don't have a rice cooker. And meanwhile, I'll also have my veggies going. I just put them in a wok and just cook them on there. Alright, so now onto the chocolate chip cookie dough. For this recipe, you're gonna need some chickpeas. You're gonna need some honey, a little bit of salt, some oatmeal powder, and also a little bit of the dates. So the first thing you're going to do is soak the dates. So take out the seeds, and then you're going to go ahead and soak them in warm water. This is so that when you blend it, it's easier to blend. So then you're going to use your oatmeal powder, add in the chickpeas, a little bit of salt, and you're going to blend it together with the dates. Make sure that you're using a really strong blender, so that way it can, happen faster. So once you do that, you're going to go ahead and add in a little bit of vanilla bean to kind of balance out the flavors. And I also use the water. The water I use is the one that I soaked the dates in. And after that, you're gonna go ahead and add in your chocolate chips and just go ahead and fold them together. It is absolutely delicious and yummy. That is it for this video. So the next thing I did is just separate the lunch from dinner. I put the Capris chicken along with the Kale Slider and the carrots with brown rice on one side, and I put the shredded chicken with a little bit of the carrots and beets along with the Lentil Pizza on the other. And I also divided the steamed vegetables in both containers and a little bit of brown rice in both containers. So as far as the sweets, I just put the muffins in the chocolate chip cookie dough side. And throughout the week, whenever I have a craving for something sweet, I either grab those or just the dates by themselves. They're pretty sweet and they're really yummy. And I also also use them for the smoothies, and the smoothies, I make them as I go in the morning, and sometimes before a workout. I just mix the banana and date if I want a caramel flavor. Sometimes I do the coffee flavor with the banana. Sometimes I do a little bit of chocolate with the banana, and sometimes I just do banana kale. So you can make it anyway, and I pretty much make them in the morning as I go. If you want more in-depth 101 training and meal plans, then check out my website. And I also would appreciate if you guys like, subscribe, and support the channel if this was helpful. And I hope you guys try out these recipes and save up some while also eating healthy. And if you want an in-depth video on how I was able to transform my body, then check out my video on how to grow your glutes and legs. And it's a very in-depth video, so you can learn all the things that you need to know from that video. And that is it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you guys save up something this week while also eating healthier. Thank you. Bye.